Every fourth Tuesday, the mail carrier walks the same route past the same porches. And this week, on porches all across America, an envelope with the Social Security Administration's seal is landing in mailboxes belonging to people born in 1960 or earlier. Some have already torn it open, confused. Others haven't touched it yet, sitting on a kitchen counter, unopened, unaware that what's inside could quietly reshape their monthly income for the rest of their life. If you were born before 1961, this letter has your name on it. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what it says, why it's arriving now, and what to do about it before it costs you money you didn't have to lose. This is Lex 2A, where we cut through the noise around Social Security, Medicare, and retirement rules, and give you the facts the way they actually work, not the way headlines make them sound. If that's what you're here for, go ahead and subscribe now, because we cover a new piece of this system every single week. Let's start with the question everyone in this situation is asking: what actually changed? Rewind to 1983. Congress, facing a Social Security system under strain, passed a set of reforms. One of the quieter ones was a plan to gradually raise the full retirement age, the age at which you're entitled to 100% of your benefit, from 65 up to 67. But lawmakers didn't flip a switch. They stretched the change across 4 decades, adding just a couple of months at a time, birth year by birth year, so no single generation would feel the shift all at once. 2026 is the year that slow climb finally reaches its end. If you were born in 1960, your full retirement age is now permanently set at 67. Born in 1959, your number landed at 66 years and 10 months. And if your birth year is 1958 or earlier, you already crossed your own threshold years ago, under slightly lower numbers from before the phase-in finished. So why is this suddenly the topic of conversation in the middle of 2026, when the plan was written back during the Reagan era? Because this is the year the Social Security Administration is mailing out fully updated benefit notices, statements that reflect not just this completed age shift, but a cluster of other changes that all took effect on January 1st. If you haven't filed for benefits yet, if you're weighing when to file, or if you're already collecting and wondering whether your check is right, this is the year all of those threads tie together in one envelope. Do you know your own full retirement age down to the exact month? Not the number your parents used, not the number you've always assumed. Your actual number? Stay with us, because we're about to make that unmistakably clear. There are 6 changes stacking on top of each other in 2026, and each one touches your birth year differently. The first is the annual cost of living adjustment, or COLA. This year, benefits rose by 2.8%. On paper, that's modest. In dollars, it works out to roughly $56 extra a month for the average retired worker. That's real money over a year. But is it enough to actually keep up with what you're spending at the grocery store or the gas pump? That's not a question we can answer for you. It's one worth running against your own household numbers. Here's how that COLA figure gets calculated. The Social Security Administration tracks something called the CPI-W, the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, and compares prices from the third quarter of one year to the third quarter of the previous year. Prices go up, your check goes up. Prices go down, which has only happened 3 times since 1975, and your check simply holds steady. It never drops because of this formula. The second change is the one that brought you here, the full retirement age officially completing its rise to 67. For generations, Americans grew up believing 65 was the finish line. That number stopped being accurate a long time ago, and as of this year, it's fully gone. If you're 66 right now, are you certain you know whether you've already crossed your personal threshold? Because getting that wrong by even a few months locks in a smaller check permanently. The third change involves how much you're allowed to earn while collecting benefits before full retirement age. If you're under your full retirement age for the entire year, You can earn up to $24,480 before the administration starts withholding, a dollar held back for every $2 you earn above that line. But here's the detail most people never hear. In the actual year you reach full retirement age, that ceiling jumps to $65,160, and the penalty softens to $1 withheld for every 3 earned above it. Cross into full retirement age, and the earnings test vanishes completely. You can earn without limit and lose nothing. Did you know that distinction existed? Because plenty of people quietly cut their work hours out of fear of losing benefits, when in reality, money withheld under this test isn't gone. It comes back to you later in the form of a higher monthly check once you hit full retirement age. The fourth change sits on the tax side. The maximum income subject to Social Security tax climbed to $184,500 in 2026, up from $176,100 the year before. If you're still working, a bit more of your paycheck feeds into the system this year, money that funds the very checks going out to today's retirees. The fifth change is where a lot of people feel the sting directly. Medicare. The standard Part B premium rose from $185 a month in 2025 to just under $22 more per month in 2026. And for most beneficiaries, that premium is deducted straight from the Social Security check before it ever reaches the bank account. So when someone says their COLA increase seemed to vanish, this is usually exactly why. Do the arithmetic. A roughly $56 COLA bump minus a roughly $17 Medicare increase, and the number that actually lands in the account is a lot smaller than the headline suggested. Has that happened to you? Have you looked closely at your deposit and wondered where the raise went? The sixth change isn't technically a Social Security rule, but it interacts with it closely. Under the Secure 2.0 Act, required minimum distributions from accounts like traditional IRAs now begin at age 73 instead of 72. That matters here because the income thresholds that decide whether your Social Security benefit gets taxed haven't been adjusted for inflation since the 1980s and 90s. Everything else has gotten more expensive. Those thresholds haven't moved an inch. So more retirees every single year find themselves crossing into taxable territory simply by standing still while the world around them changes. Now, about that letter. Every year, the Social Security Administration mails notices explaining your updated benefit for the coming year, the COLA adjustment, any Medicare premium changes, and, for anyone approaching the threshold, confirmation of the exact month your personal full retirement age falls. It's a routine piece of mail that goes to tens of millions of people. But this year, the timing lines up with the completion of that 40-year age phase-in, which is exactly why so many people are suddenly searching for answers. If your letter already arrived, did you read the whole thing, or did you skim it and set it aside? Buried in those details could be information that reshapes how you plan the next 5, 10, even 20 years of retirement income. And if it hasn't arrived yet, don't wait on the mail. Log into your personal My Social Security account directly on the official ssa.gov website. Inside, you'll find your estimated benefit at different claiming ages, your exact full retirement age down to the month, your full earnings history, and any notices already sent to you. The information is sitting there right now, ready to check before you even finish this video. Let's zoom out for a moment because this birth year cutoff carries more emotional weight than a policy footnote usually does. If you were born before 1961, you likely grew up watching parents or grandparents retire at 65 without a second thought. That was simply how it worked. You may have built your own mental picture of retirement around that same number, never realizing the rules had been shifting underneath you the entire time, quietly, year by year, while you were working, raising a family, building a life. Does that feel familiar? A little unsettling, even, realizing a number you assumed was fixed was actually moving the whole time? This is exactly why knowing your own full retirement age matters right now. Claim even 1 year early, and the reduction to your monthly check is permanent. It does not correct itself later. If your full retirement age is 67 and you claim at 62, the earliest possible age, your benefit drops by up to 30% for as long as you live. Delay past your full retirement age, on the other hand, and your benefit grows by roughly 8% for every year you wait, all the way to age 70. After 70, there's no further reward for waiting, which is why most planners treat it as the practical ceiling. Put that in dollars. A benefit worth $2,000 a month at full retirement age might shrink to around $1,400 if claimed at 62. Wait until 70, and that same benefit could grow to roughly $2,480. That's a swing of more than $1,000 a month, every month, for the rest of your life, based entirely on timing. Have you ever actually sat down and run those numbers for your own household? Most people haven't. That's not a judgment. It's simply that this information is scattered across agencies that rarely explain it in plain terms. Here's something else worth knowing. If you're married, widowed, or divorced, spousal benefits, worth up to 50% of your spouse's full retirement age benefit, follow these same age rules. Claim spousal benefits before your own full retirement age, and that amount gets reduced too. If you're divorced, and the marriage lasted at least 10 years, and you haven't remarried, you may still qualify for benefits based on your ex-spouse's earnings record. Here's the detail that surprises almost everyone. Your ex-spouse doesn't even need to have filed for their own benefits yet, and they're never notified that you've claimed against their record. Did you know that option existed? How many people do you think are leaving that money untouched simply because nobody ever told them it was available? For widows and widowers, the rules shift again. A surviving spouse can receive up to 100% of the deceased spouse's benefit, with eligibility starting as early as age 60 or 50 if the surviving spouse is disabled. And if the spouse who passed away had delayed their own claim past full retirement age, building a larger benefit, the surviving spouse inherits that larger amount. This is one of the most overlooked reasons delaying benefits, when it's financially possible, can matter so much for married couples, and it isn't just about one person's check. It's about protecting whichever spouse ends up living longer. Now, something needs to be said plainly because honesty matters more here than clicks. You've probably seen videos online with dramatic titles claiming Social Security is about to vanish entirely, or that benefits are secretly being cut for anyone over 65. That's not accurate, and we're not going to tell you otherwise for the sake of a headline. What is true, according to the Social Security Board of Trustees' own public reporting, is that the combined trust funds are projected to become depleted around 2033 if Congress takes no further action. That does not mean checks stop. It means incoming payroll tax revenue alone would cover a little over 3/4 of scheduled benefits from that point forward, unless lawmakers act, which, going back to those 1983 reforms, is exactly what Congress has done every time a shortfall has approached. Is this a real issue worth watching closely? Absolutely. Is it the same thing as your check disappearing next year? No. You deserve the accurate version, not the version built to keep you anxious and watching. So let's make this practical. If you were born before 1961, here's what to actually do with everything we just covered. First, log into your My Social Security account on the official government site and confirm your exact full retirement age, along with your estimated benefit at 62, at full retirement age, and at 70. Seeing your real numbers tied to your own earnings history tells you more than any general chart ever could, including the ones in this video. Second, if you're still working and under full retirement age, take a hard look at those earnings limits. $24,480 if you're under full retirement age all year, or $65,160 in the year you reach it. Remember that withheld money isn't lost. It's repaid later through a higher benefit, which might change how you think about part-time work during these transition years. Third, if you're married, sit down with your spouse and actually run the numbers on spousal and survivor benefits together instead of each of you planning in isolation. The decision of who claims when can shape what the surviving spouse receives decades from now. Fourth, watch how your Medicare Part B premium interacts with your COLA increase. If you're on a fixed income, knowing that a good chunk of this year's raise may already be absorbed by that premium hike helps you budget accurately instead of being caught off guard by your deposit. Fifth, and this one costs nothing but a few minutes, actually open and read your Social Security notices when they arrive, whether by mail or through your online account. It's tempting to set official-looking government mail aside for later, but later has a way of turning into never, and these letters contain numbers specific to your exact situation. Here's the bottom line. If you were born before 1961, you're living through the final chapter of a retirement age shift that's been unfolding quietly since 1983. Layered this year with a cost of living adjustment, new earnings limits, a higher Medicare premium, and tax thresholds that haven't moved with inflation in decades. None of it is a conspiracy. None of it means your benefits are disappearing. But it absolutely means the number you may have grown up believing, retire at 65, no penalty, no longer reflects reality. And the gap between understanding these rules and ignoring them can mean hundreds of dollars a month, every month for the rest of your life. So before you go, ask yourself one question. Do you actually know what your benefit looks like at 62, at your full retirement age, and at 70? If you don't, that's all right. But make today the day you find out using your own My Social Security account rather than anyone else's general numbers, including ours. If this helped you make sense of what's landing in your mailbox, subscribe to Lex 2A. We break down changes like this every single week as new rules and notices come out. And drop a comment below with your birth year and whether your letter has arrived yet. We read every one, and it helps shape exactly what we cover next. Thanks for watching.